Welcome to the Super Facts Show on the Super Facts Network. I just appreciate you listening. So I'm not gonna ask you to follow me on Instagram at Mark Waldo Ward. I'm not gonna ask you to rate and review the show. I'm not gonna ask you to subscribe to it. Thank you for your time.
What up, world? It's your boy Mark Waldo Ward, Super Facts Show, Super Facts Network. Today we got with us one of my favorite artists and people in general, Ryder Bankz. How you doing?
How you doing? I'm doing good.
I'm hanging in there. So you know, like this is kind of funny. I hit up Rich Gates and was like, yo, you should do a song with this girl. She's dope. Not knowing that he knew you and you had a song with him.
Yeah, Rich and I met through a mutual contact, and we collaborated on that song, Another Key. And I want to say there was one other song that we were working on, but I don't think I finished or I wanted to go back and redo my part of that song. So,
man, you was on some super gangster shit on Another Key.
You know, experiences, life has definitely just been full of experiences for me. So I can speak on certain things because I've experienced them.
I know about it. That being said, that type of music appeals to me with my level of experiences in this world too. Are you gonna make, or I'm sure you made plenty, are you gonna release more songs like that?
I feel like I am hitting a stage in my life where, you know what I'm saying, like I don't want to be seen in that light as often. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna have a couple of songs where it's definitely like, oh, she can take it there.
Right.
But I've been single for about a year, and I'm feeling very sexually liberated. And I've explored more things about myself on that side of the spectrum, and so it'll come out in my next EP.
So you know what I want to ask you about, but all right, so let me say this first.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, Carnal Knowledge, which we talked about before, and then that one song you sent me, it seems to me that you have an ability to make, I see, like there's a difference. I've noticed, I mean, in my case with listening to female artists, that there's some artists who can make songs that make people, you know, sexually attracted to the artist, but then there's other songs that can make just someone feel sexual. And I feel like very few female rappers have gotten to that point. And you know, you're one of the first ones that comes to mind, because like the first thing I think of when I think of that is Carnal Knowledge. Like if I was trying to illustrate that concept to somebody, that would be the first thing I'd send them towards. But you know, I mean, shit, Missy done made some sexy ass music, but do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I definitely do. And that's the goal with any music I make, is to feel like, you know, that's why I say I only speak on things I know, because if that artist connects to it, when a person hears it, they connect to that artist, like in whatever way that artist is trying to portray. Like, you can't be out here, you know, raised in the suburbs, never touched anything in your life and be like, oh, another ball, I'm gonna put it. Like, you wouldn't even know where to put it. So, you know, and Carnal Knowledge, you know, it's very sexual, it's very, very passionate, and it was about someone. So I guess that's what made it, that connection, that much stronger. And then other people heard and was like, oh, she's really, you know, feeling that. And so they were able to feel it. So
definitely. Now see, I said that to say this though. It's hard. You know, like I'm married, I'm faithful, all that good type shit. And it's hard these days to give a woman a compliment, especially of the nature I just did, without them, I shouldn't say them, but without it seeming like you're dirty macking. And I guess that's because, you know, y'all ladies got so many people in your inboxes all the time. And like, I ain't gonna lie, I resent the fact that a bunch of lames make it hard to compliment a woman these days.
No, I definitely get it. I think that, here's the thing, I'm gonna just take it as a compliment. Okay, they fucked with the song and keep it pushing. Now, if they choose to, you know, try to push that narrative a little further, and then it's like, okay, you know, once they start crossing boundaries, and it's like, okay, you know, hey, yo, I'm not comfortable where this conversation is going. But if you just like, yo, this song sounds sexy as fuck, or yo, you sound sexy as fuck in it, or, you know, you make me one damn try, you know, it's just like a comment like that. It's like, oh, okay, you fucking with the song. If they don't perpetuate that, then there's no need to be offended or feel like somebody is trying to, fuck you or something. Like, listen to the lyrics of your song. You can't get mad if that's how they look at you or they think about you. That's what you gave them.
True indeed, true indeed. So, I feel like probably that this, you said you've been single for a year and now you feel more liberated in your music. Does that have anything to do with this dirty laundry stuff you were telling me about?
Absolutely. Cause in that year I've been single, I've had sex one time with one person, and I really don't care about putting these things out because they're gonna come out on my Dirty Laundry podcast. And I talked about self-exploration, figuring out, writing down like literally a sex journal with the guys that I've had sex with, what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, things that made me attracted to them, things that pushed me away, things that I do to myself that I like, things that I want to try, things that I have tried, all of that. And it's all going to be discussed on a podcast. And I feel like we don't talk about sex enough, like, especially women, because girls like, oh, she putting her business out there, but maybe someone has had that same experience or wants to have that experience or has a question about it, or maybe they can teach you something, you know what I'm saying? So like, let's talk about it, let's put it out there, let's just be sexually liberated. Like, you are having sex, why not have good sex? Why not figure out ways to make it more than just fucking? Because there's fucking and then there's sex and then there's making love, and doing it is just like, it's just not even worth it. So you feel me? Like, there's levels to it.
Yeah, definitely. So let me ask you this. So like, I don't want to step on what you're going to talk about in your podcast, but like, let's say for instance, when you was talking about things you liked and things you didn't like, did you notice that there was any commonalities that you weren't aware of before?
Like, a lot, actually. It's like, it's like it's an attraction to things that, I don't know. It's like I kept having sex with these people. There are three guys literally who their list was like A to Z exactly the same, and they are the exact same person. And it's like I had this attraction to what I didn't like about sex with them. Like, I thought if maybe I just kept fucking with this person, like it would change, and maybe they would figure out my body. And no, absolutely not. Like, huge regret. But yeah, like, those are some of the things I'm gonna be talking about on there.
So let me ask you this: why do you think you were, I'm not gonna say unaware, because maybe you did subconsciously, but you didn't put it together at the time? The all three of them had in common. Like, maybe if you put it together, you might not get the number three, or you might skip number. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't know why I went for that type. I'm glad I'm out of that stage. It's definitely like not I went for the men that cared about you until they didn't, didn't need you for whatever it was at that moment, like sexually, like they cared about how you felt and stuff until they got their nut. Then they didn't care if you got off or not. They didn't care if it felt good to you or not. It felt good to them. Like, they cared enough to keep you wet, but that was it.
Man, that's not a good policy for repeat customers.
Right. Right. And I stayed mostly again, and like, I can count, the men on two hands. And it was like, because I was in serious relationships with all of them, and this new me is.
Did you ever say anything like, man, you need to step your game up or some shit like that? I mean, because you would think it won't be too hard for a cat to figure it out. I mean, I ain't trying to front on them, but like, that ain't really no problem. I mean, yeah, I ain't, but you know what I'm saying? But it would seem like one could deduct that after at least like 2 weeks or so.
I found, because at the end of the day, and like, this is gonna sound crazy, but like, at the end of the day, like, I was gonna get me regardless. So it's like, I would kind of incorporate my own things into, they might be doing something hidden from the back, whatever. I might be, twiddling the thumbs or whatever. Like, I might find a way to make myself satisfied with it enough to where they get, and I go in the shower and finish myself off. Like, I literally, but that was just because, okay, I'm with this person, I love them, I want to make it work, and sex is a big part of your emotions, and so you're attracted to this person emotionally. You want to be sexually attracted to them. You know they're getting off, but you're not getting off, and it's a sacrifice you made. And I'm gonna get into that on my third episode, actually.
So have you ever dealt with a concerned cat, like somebody that was, you know, more considerate of where you were?
Yeah, the first person I've had sex with since I've been single. Yeah, and he like sparked all of that. Like he sparked like a lot of ideas, like because he cared about my body and how I felt, and if he was doing it right, and you could tell he was listening and feeling for my body language and my sound, and it was
Right. I get you.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So, and not speaking about him, not him at all. So take him out of the equation. Do you think that it could ever come from a bad place? Like maybe someone could only care because of their ego as opposed to like, you know, what you were actually feeling.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of people, like, for instance, I know a lot of females that will, you know, they will pleasure their man, you know, fellatio all the time and not actually get pleasure out of it, but they just want to see him squirm. You know, they just want to make sure that they still got it and that they feel in charge. And it's a control thing sometimes.
It's funny how like the exact same thing by one person can be looked at as a control thing, while another person could look at it as being controlled, or not even think about control at all in relation to it.
Right. More or less, not control, but dominance rather. It's about feeling like you know, that's your moment and you made that person do, that was your work. You did that. You're responsible for how that person felt. And for sure, I definitely am attracted to that in people. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Part of a problem. Like, but I mean, at the same time, it's kind of like a benefit because they feel like they got to, you know, do all the work. So.
And what's the format of the show going to be? Are you going to have guests at all? Or is this just going to be like you exploring your thoughts?
So I have a male co-host and I have a friend who is actually a licensed sex therapist. She'll be coming on a few episodes. We're going to meet once a week. So once a week, well, I want to start off with once a month and do like an hour long, but everyone feels like once a week would be better, just to start off. But once a week, and she's going to be on at least once a month. I know she's got 4 episodes that we got laid out for the next 3 months. So in January, she'll be in there twice, and we'll definitely have her commentary and her expertise on things and just her direction. Oh, sorry about that.
It's okay.
Her direction and her expertise will definitely be needed, appreciated, and very, very much, you know, warranted in the situation, because of course you need somebody from a professional standpoint, you need a female standpoint, and you need a male standpoint, and I think that balance with those 3.
Are you ready to hear things you don't like? Because you know, if you deal with a good therapist, you know, when they tell you the truth, sometimes the truth is a hard thing.
You know, she my friend. She tells me all types of stuff I don't like, and I have to take that advice. And you know, I might not act on it immediately, I might not apply it immediately, but I definitely write it down, think about what she said, and you know, and address it with myself, and you know, check myself, so to speak, on that. Because she told me I was lazy one time.
Oh, yeah?
Was yeah. And
how
I had
so? You was mad cluttered in the crib?
Huh?
I said, how so? Your crib was mad cluttered? Like what she thought was lazy about you?
She's a sex therapist, so I was just asking her questions about sex and stuff, and I was explaining, you know, what was going on at that time, and she was like, to be honest, you kind of have become like a princess. She called me a pillow princess, and she was like, you know, you feel like if you give head once a month because you're so good at it, that's all you have to do, and he got to give you head every time y'all have sex. She was like, you lazy, and you need to. And I was like, you right.
I like her already. She all right with me.
Yeah, like she's straight up real about it. I love it. And that's why I feel like she's definitely, you know, an intricate part of that formula for everything.
And then, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was saying because she's just, you know, she's real.
And then this isn't, you said it wasn't just going to be a podcast. You're going to have music around it, any merch or anything of that nature. Or, I mean, shit, I mean, you the creative one. What else is it going to, or is it going to be anything?
So there are gonna be some sex toys. Mostly because, you know, as I said, I was single for a year. So I had to like find like a combination of things to pleasure myself with. And I've been taking suggestions from people on what they would like to see as far as, you know, erotic toys. And I have a friend who's designing lingerie, and we will be incorporating that into the Dirty Laundry merch. And, you know, it's just, I got a lot of things moving right now. It's a lot, but definitely the merch. Definitely gonna put out a EP where I'm, you know, just talking about sex, like period. And I wanna do one special where we just talk about where, you know, when I became sexually liberated, when I felt like it was okay to be this comfortable in who I am.
So, you know, from a woman's perspective, but also being Black, I'm curious, in your life, if you had more problems with racism or sexism?
Ooh, both. And here's why. Because I am a woman, there are always, you know, that. And then I'm a Black woman. So it's like, you know, we are the least respected. We are the least protected.
Statistically, the least likely to get married in the United States.
Statistically, the least likely to get married. We are judged all the time. We have to bite our tongue with a lot of things. We can't express how we truly feel because you look like that angry Black woman, you know, and or you look like you have an attitude problem or just anything like that. So it's just, I would say, honestly, it's 50-50 on that, because I don't win in either category.
Shit, that's real as shit. You know, if I was a Black woman, what would make me angry? Them motherfucking corporations selling all that Black girl magic shit when they don't donate no money back to the hood. They ain't sending no money to Jackson for the water. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, and that's one thing I did notice, because, you know, we're speaking about sexual health, being conscious of, you know, a woman being conscious of her vagina and how it works, and, you know, how to take care of it, proper hygiene and stuff. I noticed that that's something, you know, Black women, I have an all Black healthcare team for that reason. Like, let's just put it like that. Like, you can feel it. You can tell these doctors don't really care. They don't really, you know, take the time to research what's going on with the Black woman. If she say her body hurts, oh, give her some Vicodin and send her on her way. They're not going to actually do x-rays and things like that. If Black women don't have like means to like take care of themselves, in which I looked up, we Black women are like the ones who struggle the most as far as like feminine hygiene products and things like that. And I do want to start up some sort of a foundation where we can give away those kinds of things for free, because I mean, it is expensive and it's hard for us, like, and people don't really advocate for us like they advocate for other ethnicities and other, you know, races and stuff. So
true. You know, I never thought of that before, but you know how you know about food deserts?
You said, I'm sorry, what?
You know about, man, I got accent like shit. You know about food deserts?
Food deserts?
Yeah, it's like places where poor people live, and like the only place to go get food is like Dollar General or 7-Eleven, like on the bus route or in walking distance, and it be in places where people don't drive as much. So then, you know, they don't get access to like, you know, fresh produce, fruits, vegetables, shit like that. And it affects poor communities, you know, a lot of poor white people too, but obviously poor Black people. Like if you're in DC or Chicago in the Black neighborhoods, there might be like mad Dollar Generals, but it'll be a while before you see like a Whole Foods or even just a regular grocery store.
Yeah.
And, you know, by that same logic, man, just imagine if the only feminine hygiene products you can go get is just from straight Dollar Generals or Dollar Trees or God forbid, just a 7-Eleven or a gas station.
And you want to know something that's really jacked up about that?
What's that?
I went online and I was just looking to see, you know, because I started, again, I've been researching this entire project for months now, but I went online and I was just checking the prices of things that like are in our area, because I was surprised at the number of women who don't have, you know, proper access to these things in my area. And I found that in the poor neighborhoods, like things are $2 to $3 higher.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That
Versus
we
in the
like,
rich, buy one get one free. Like, you know, like it's backwards.
oh,
It's backwards.
you know, I grew up in like an all black neighborhood, right? Outside DC. And like the convenience stores, like the little liquor stores or whatever, like the same thing to be, you know, up the road or at a more corporate place, like you know, like an Exxon, for instance. It'd be like mad marked up, and they used to call it the black tax. You know,
Yeah.
like they was taxing extra because they know it was black people who didn't have cars or when the buses stopped. I mean, you know what I mean? And yeah, and like I feel like shit like that's immoral because like I went to prison for weed and shit, and I feel like why the fuck did I ever have to do a day of time when people do shit like that with society's blessing?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's like that. Every poor neighborhood, you're gonna find that things are more expensive than in the rich neighborhoods.
See, we gotta talk about that shit though. Just like we gotta talk about the problems with the feminine hygiene products and the healthcare, because like make them embarrassed about it. You know,
Yeah.
like they should feel ashamed.
Absolutely. I'm definitely, because you know bylaws and stuff here, certain ways you got to approach people out here in the country. They kind of some of these places have their own rules. You feel me? Like say it, but I might not be able to. So I'm kind of researching that part of it because again, and that's one of the things with being a Black woman, some stuff I can't say without them saying, oh, you know, that's harassment or that's what is it, defamation, and you know, things of that nature. So we have to watch how we approach these situations too. Like coming from like, oh, I'm lending a helping hand, it's fine, but coming from, oh, y'all aren't doing what y'all are supposed to do for your community, then the politicians get involved because you're making them look bad, and it can get ugly, like as far as like litigation and stuff.
Or you know how they say like perception is reality. I feel a lot of times presentation is reality because the way you say something determines the reality of it to the listener. Like you can make them mad, you can make them happy, whatever.
Absolutely. But you know, you dealing with that. You dealing with humans and their emotions, and let's be real. Like, okay, they have the government politics, but them emotional politics with people who have, you know, the means to support what they're standing on, it's a little bit different. It's harder. You definitely gotta know how to approach them.
Most definitely. You know, everything can't be that serious though. You know, the most views I have of anything, definitely any clip is I don't know if you actually, I see you put it up sometimes, the muffin cupcake. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. That's literally like I tell people all the time, like that was my favorite interview. Like when we were sitting there and you're like, oh, so you could have a cupcake, but you got a muffin. And I'm like, yeah, but muffins are just ugly cupcakes. And it's like, why would you say that? And I'm like, well, I mean, does a muffin look ugly without the icing that the cupcake has on it?
Man, those is words to live by.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So, you know, no disrespect to, you know, your skills as an artist, but would you think I'm tripping if I say I think the best two female rappers ever is well, see, like I think Lauryn Hill is the best female rapper ever, but because of like it's almost like the Andre 3000 thing with the lack of content, you can't quite put her up there. So like I give it to Missy. Well, what do you think of that assessment?
Missy's a good one. Missy's a good one just because she's consistent and it's not like, you know, she felt like she had to prove a point with her music. She was just doing what she wanted to do. She created a lane and nobody else has been able to be in that lane. So definitely Missy's definitely top tier. Let's see. Yeah, I think, has anyone else been able to do that and for that long? No, I think Missy did it. Yeah, I think you got that one right. I think you got that.
You could kind of say Salt and Pepper and Missy probably are pretty close in terms of like you know albums that are considered classic or better than that, like 4 to 5 Mike albums. If you was going by the I don't even know the source rate Mike albums like that anymore, but the old shit.
Definitely, but when we talk about being the best, I think you hit the nail on the head with Missy. Like I think she definitely is the best. Can you excuse me for one moment?
No doubt.
All right, I'll be right back.
And we're back. Like I said, I ain't really got too much more, just some conversation type stuff. We was talking about parenting before we start recording again. What do you got a parenting hack? Like anything that comes to mind when I say that?
Yeah, if you bribe them, like when they're, because I have a 3 and a 4-year-old, and honestly, like everybody says, oh, you shouldn't bribe them and this, that, and the third. Listen, schedule is tight. I'm on a time limit. I have to be out the door at 7:41 a.m. If I'm any later than that, I'm stuck in traffic. If they don't want, I give you $1 when we get to the car. By the time you get to the car, they're not even gonna remember the dollar at 3 and 4. So just bribe them. Like, I promise it's okay.
So that's not even really a bribe. Technically, that's like if a tree fall in the forest, does anything here type shit.
Right. They're not gonna remember it. Just at that moment, give them a momentary bribe. By the time they count while they're walking down the steps to the car, they don't even remember that I owe them $1.
I can dig it. You watch House of the Dragon?
I have not gotten into it yet. I have been asked about it, but I've actually sent you some music. I've been recording. So I have not been able to get into anything on TV when I come in the door, and I crash.
What's the last good show you watched? Even if it's a year ago or whatever.
Oh no, it wasn't a year ago. It was a month ago, maybe, and it was the West. Wait, what was it? It was something with West in the title.
Westworld. Ah,
that was a good. I watched the other 3 seasons, and I honestly, I want to watch it again because I feel like I missed certain key things in there because it was very detailed. I think you're familiar with the show. From season 3 to season 4, it was a whole lot of like little details in there that I missed with Charlotte, and I just drew a blank with Charlotte and the black lady that took over.
That's Tessa Thompson with Charlotte, Dolores. Oh, Thandie Newton.
Dolores and Charlotte, when they were going back and forth, fighting for it. Like, I missed a lot of that part, so I need to catch up on that.
Some of that shit was kind of nonsensical. The last year, I don't think they're gonna renew it because of that. The first year was by far the best in my opinion. But I like when they be shooting at each other and shit. A lot of shit I don't even give a fuck about the plot. I just like the spectacle. And what Westworld was mad spectacle. So the Missy Lauryn Hill thing. What's the last record? Well, not record. Nobody buys fucking records. But what's the last thing you went out of your way to listen to?
Ooh, the last thing I went out of my way to listen to is don't judge me. No, but I'm a lover of all kinds of music, and it was Taylor Swift. She has a song called Delicate, and I didn't hear any words of the song. The song was going off as I was getting in the car. I was listening to the radio, and the song was going off, so I was getting in the car, and I just liked the melody that I was hearing. So I just, Shazammed it and found it. And I listened to that song like all day that day. Actually,
I ain't hip to it. I'll check it out. I don't ever judge people on that type shit. Like, I find that whole guilty pleasure thing like just a oxymoronic concept. Like, I don't feel like, back to your dirty laundry shit. I don't feel like I should be guilty about something that gives me pleasure.
No, like it's a happy trigger. Like it's a happy trigger. Focus on those. Like, life hack. Focus on your happy triggers.
Like I won't front. I fuck with New Kids on the Block. Like, off the no bullshit. Shit, to be real with you, I used to go see Nick Cannon movies just because Nick Cannon was in them, because I fuck with Nick Cannon because I thought he was the realest rapper ever. Because by real I meant like not the hardest, but real. Like, that motherfucker made a song called My Daddy Don't Like Me. You know what I mean? He ain't come out there with no fake tough guy shit, none of that shit. And like, yeah. I ain't really like it, but I respected the fuck out that. And then I like Drumline like a motherfucker.
Yeah, actually, I showed my son that movie. My 15-year-old, I showed him that movie back at the beginning before, because he was playing football this year. I was like, "This is how you gonna do when y'all doing halftime and stuff." And he was watching the movie with me, and he was like, "When was this made? In the 1900s?" And I just
He ain't like it.
He liked it. He was just like the graphics. He was like, "Was this made in the 1900s?" And I'm like, "No, this was people, like real people walking around on the field and stuff. Ain't no CGI on that. Like that was real people." And he was like, "Oh, and they really playing the drums?" I'm like, "Yeah. Like
Yeah.
there's no laziness. There's no CGI. These are real people and real work." But he liked it. He definitely liked it. He definitely had a respect for the band once he saw that movie.
You showed him Paid in Full?
He watched Paid in Full with myself and my ex-fiance. He watched Paid in Full, House Party, Friday, next Friday, Friday after next, last Friday. Any hood movie you could think of, he watched them with us.
I'm pretty sure Paid in Full is the same director as Drumline. And speaking of that House Party, you seen the commercial for the new House Party?
I did see it.
I mean, they like break up in, I don't know if they break into it, but they somehow end up in like LeBron James' house when he ain't home, and they throw a party in LeBron James' house, and it's like mad stars on the cameos, I guess.
Yeah, because they trying to like come up with some money for something. So yeah, they were saying something about the daughter wouldn't have to worry about school or something like that.
I don't
And
know. I definitely give it a chance. I ain't watched that How High 2 shit though.
You have?
And I said I haven't. I don't know. I just couldn't mess with Lil Yachty. Like Lil Yachty don't. I like Lil. I get well. I don't know. That broccoli shit was cool, but that shit didn't look like it was finna be no Method Man, Redman shit.
I think I like a lot of our classics the way they were, and there's no shade to the new generation, but it's just I just don't think they can do us like we did us. That's just, you know what I'm saying? But that would be like us trying to do something from, the era before ours, and we can't do it the way they did it. We should just leave it alone. So, but I think they're classics, and I think that we should just.
I agree. I wish they, speaking of guilty pleasures, I wish they start making more dancing movies. Like the like I used to like all that shit. You Got Served, Step Up, Honey, all that type shit. What you think the best old school dancing movie was?
Definitely You Got Served. It was for Little Saint. Like, what you mean? We did this for Little Saint. You Got Served definitely was it.
Yeah, I think that shit's on Netflix. I might go watch that.
Yeah, for sure. You download it to your personal. You can find anything on Broken Silence and download it to your personal. You can watch it over and over again on your TV if you got like the smart share and stuff.
I didn't even know that. We got so many motherfucking streaming services. It's rare I don't find that shit on one thing. What you call it? Broken Talents?
Broken Silence, and it's
Broken Silence.
SILENCE.net. BrokenSilence.net.
I'll check it out. So is there gonna be any music before Dirty Laundry? Or do you plan on releasing any songs anytime soon or anything?
Absolutely. I'm working on one now. It's actually, I want to talk about it without talking too much about it.
When do you think it'll come out?
Definitely before the podcast comes out. The podcast comes out the end of next month. The song will be out definitely at least a week before that podcast comes out. But I think you can hear the growth, and you can definitely feel the growth in that song, like of me as an artist, as a woman, mature wise, like the way that I word things now, like I've definitely upped my dialect. I definitely can say, I wanna, fuck this dude without saying I wanna fuck this dude. It's insinuating.
Right.
So I'm very proud of myself. I worked really hard. So I just hope it's worth it.
Man, whoever did your hair worked really hard, man. Shout them out. They crushed it.
Miss Pickles, MZ.PICKLES on Instagram. Miss Pickles Jelly Angelica. I love her. She braids my hair all the time. I usually give her some style that it's just like impossible, but then I'll give her colors to play with. Like you see, she's got the brown, the gold, the red, the blacks. Like she does it. Like she definitely. I love her. And I think I shout her out in every single reel I post too. Because people are always asking. She's definitely worth it. Go sit in her chair if you watching.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to her. So since you got a 15-year-old and he's asking you like, was drumline in the 1900s? What's another thing he did or said or what reacted to that made you feel older? You know,
Ooh, so much. They think we are like super old because I was born in 88. And he's like, so when'd you get Wi-Fi? And I'm like, oh, we got internet in the late 90s. We got Wi-Fi like 2000, early 2000s and stuff. We started like really figuring out this internet stuff. And he was like, wait, I thought you would have had it in like, I don't know, the 1700s or something. I didn't think. I'm like, what? And then he asked what year I was born. Prior to that, I told him 88. He was like, oh, so I guess dinosaurs weren't around, but they wasn't gone for long before you.
Damn, that's messed up.
But I definitely think it's funny when he comes out with, oh, look what I saw on TikTok. It's a TikTok trend. And I'm like, we were doing that when I was 10.
Yo, it does geek me out how much of that TikTok shit is like old shit.
Yeah. Like, I saw the kids freaking out about the house phones, that you pick up and you have the rotary phones. And I showed him a cordless phone and he was just like, so you don't have to plug it up to charge it, you just sit it on that thing? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, so that means if you need to use it, you can't charge it and use it at the same time. And I'm like, precisely. And he's like, And
unless that John had the speaker and the answering machine.
Right. And he just wasn't feeling it. He was just like, no, I don't know how y'all survived. And I'm like, we went outside.
Damn, he would have hated the jump with the where you had to have the long cord so you can get away from people hearing you and shit.
Yes. Or when internet was dial up and it was just that one long cord throughout the whole house.
I miss most of them days. That's when I was on my state sponsored vacations.
Oh, yeah.
I never had like a MySpace page or AOL account and none of that type shit.
I wasn't supposed to have a MySpace, but rules were made to be broken when I was younger. So the world wasn't the way it is now. So it was like I had a MySpace and I learned, actually that was like probably my first experience with what I do now with coding and stuff. Like that was probably my first experience with it for sure. And I would always have like the backgrounds that moved and the music that started as soon as you started playing and as soon as you pulled on the page and all of this. Like it was, copying those HTML codes and pasting them. That was probably my first coding experience. Like real life coding experience was from MySpace.
You like coding?
I'm an analyst. I'm a data.
But I mean, you like it though. Like
I love it. I like making things work. I like figuring out how to manipulate numbers and figures to make them work to my advantage, to show me what I need to see. And there's never the same mistake twice. And I love that because that means I'm always learning something.
Nah, I can dig it. That might sound mad boring, but like for instance, I like observing how systems function. It could be like governments or the hierarchy in a store. Like I'll be in line at Walmart paying attention to like how the manager be talking to people or some shit. And,
yeah.
I know that sounds like wild boring, but I wouldn't do that shit over like going to a ill concert or nothing. But that shit occupies my attention.
Yeah, no, I'm very analytical. The same way you would probably like it. I am very analytical. I definitely take note of everything around me, like my entire surroundings. And it's weird because it's almost like by default, you have like a photographic memory. You know what I'm saying? Like you remember every detail about whatever it was that you just watched and you break it down and figure out what it means and how, possible outcomes of the situation. It's weird. Like, that's why I have like certain things that I have to do to like take my mind off of that kind of stuff because I'll sit and I'll think.
I know what you mean. Yep.
Yeah, like sometimes I'm up to like 3 a.m. just working on something. And my boss would be like, yo, are you still up? Like, why is my computer going off and saying that I'm getting emails about changes? And I'm like, I'm sorry. I was looking at it and it didn't look right and it didn't sit well with me. So I had to go back and experiment and fix it.
So you said that you gotta do something to like, quote, like I call it like cleansing your palate. And I gotta do that too sometimes when I get too involved in a project or whatever. What like me, I go exercise, or I got a heavy bag in the garage. That's what I really do to get out of like a mode. Just go punch on that motherfucker. But what do you do to get out of it when you're doing too much?
I have a few things. Like sometimes I'll cook. Like even if we've already eaten dinner, I might go in the kitchen and cook up like something that I can warm up the next morning for breakfast, or like I'll just like stress clean. Like today, I got frustrated at work and my mind was occupied with something, and like I stress cleaned. I came in and like deep cleaned my walls and all of that stuff, and like it's kind of bad like when you like have to do that, but it takes your mind off whatever it is at that moment. Or like I'll write, or I'll just dance around the house, like something to just take me away from whatever I'm doing at that moment. I just create a distraction. Lately I just been playing in my hair. Like lately I get stressed and I'll prop my mirror up and I'll play in my hair.
All those are better things than like going out and getting drunk or some stupid shit. So I can definitely dig that. Like if it's bad that your response is your house is clean, then that ain't necessarily the worst thing in the world.
Oh no, I'm just saying it's bad because I become like obsessive with it. Like you try to get your mind off one thing and then you get obsessed with another. So I try not to go into like stress cleaning as much unless I just really need to just take it out. Like it's just piled up to the point where like, dancing ain't gonna do it, singing ain't gonna do it, playing in my hair ain't gonna do it. I need to get rid of this energy. I'll stress clean, because if you just do it just to do it, you're gonna stress yourself out. Like you're gonna make yourself more worried about that, and now you got something else on your mind, and it's just a continuous cycle. So I try to like do my hair or do my makeup or like dance around the house or something if I just get too I don't know, worried about something that I can't fix right at that moment.
Word. So last thing before the socials, what's the last, if I say what's the last thing that made you laugh a lot or laugh hard, what was the first thing you think of?
So I didn't realize that my dad was in my close friends on Instagram. And are you friends on Instagram?
Are we friends on Instagram? Yes.
No, are you in my close friends, like my green circle?
I don't know. I didn't even know. I don't even really know about that, to be real with you.
Because I do know that you are, married and stuff. So I don't think I added you just for that specific purpose, but I've been promoting the podcast inside of there. And you'd be surprised how many people will DM like, hey, my friend showed me your close friends. Can you add me to your close friends list? And I'll do it. I have more viewers on my close friends than my regular story. But my dad was on there. And as I said, I'm promoting this podcast. So some of the things, everything that I've been posting, like to be frank, 100% of everything I've been posting, he wouldn't mind me saying, but he doesn't want to see that I said these things.
Right.
And
I wouldn't mind if my daughter did any of that stuff, but I wouldn't want to hear it.
Right. And he called the other day and he was like, hey, I was watching your stories and a little green circle appeared. So I clicked on it and you can you take me out of that group? And I was yeah, he was like, I just, princess, I ain't gonna be able to talk to you for the rest of the day. And I was like,
fair enough, right?
yeah, he was like, I'm not ashamed that you know these things. I'm glad that you feel, he even said, I commend you for feeling comfortable enough to say these things, because a lot of women don't want to be judged when they say them. He was like, but I just don't want to know that you're saying them.
Shit, I can't be mad at that. And then last thing, and I definitely want to do another show around the time to help promote your podcast and obviously about anything about your music. But last thing is all. Oh, go ahead.
Podcast, you can give a married perspective, because I've never been married, so I wouldn't know how things go in that way.
Oh, sure, yeah, definitely. I don't got no cut cards or no shame, so I fit right in.
Oh yeah, welcome aboard.
I will bet. Well, let me know. And then last thing, what's your socials? Anything you want them to check out?
Oh yeah, so you can check out my socials. IG at official Ryder Bankz, RYDERBANKZ. TikTok is Ryder Bankz, RYDERBANKZ. You can check me out on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Pandora, all of that, RYDERBANKZ. Definitely get into Excel, produced by Sean Wright. Get into Pressure, produced by Tilly Beats. Check out that whole EP, honestly. Stay tuned. Message me, DM me if you want to get on my close friends list so that you can be part of that. I'm going to start subscriptions on Instagram soon. So those who don't listen to the podcast and subscribe to the podcast itself can subscribe to my Instagram and get little, highlighted clips and stuff from that podcast. So
It sounds good. Well, thank you so much for your time and have a good night, Ryder.
oh, thank you. And you have a good night too.
See you later.